We each contain multitudes, not just the parts we're proud of, the healer, the teacher, the mystic, but the gambler, the trickster, the tyrant. Every archetype that has ever moved through human experience lives somewhere in you, in me, in all of us. And the shadow isn't the enemy. The light isn't the destination. The middle path, where you can hold the full range with compassionate awareness, that's where we actually get to know ourselves. I'm Kelly, a mystic, a scribe, and many other archetypes besides. And the devotion of my life is looking into this divine mirror of archetypes with full honesty and reflecting that compassion outward. Each video in this series takes one archetype from the Oracle by Carolyn Myss and opens it along 3 threads: the shadow or the low road we've walked, the light, the high road we're seeking or reaching for, and the middle path, the one that can hold both and carry us forward while we carry it along the path of self-mastery. This is the fullness of what it means to be human. This is the archetypal attunement. Hello and welcome to Weaving the Magic. Welcome to this archetypal attunement, where for the next about 10 minutes I'll be diving into the archetype of the seeker and how we can journey through self-mastery to grab hold of this archetype within us, knowing there's a high road and a low road and that we have a middle path to walk. So diving right in, the light attribute of the seeker, the thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are, and the shadow being inability to commit to a path once found. So interesting. This deck that I've been using recently has the entire suit of wands set in the desert, and I've been immersed in the set of wands for a while, so this being one of these first few archetypes I touch on is like no coincidence at all, because I am a seeker, and I know what it's like to have this unquenchable thirst, to constantly be seeking for answers outside of myself. If I only had more information, if only this was the right way for me, and also like dabbling in multiple different paths, sets, like wisdom teachings, you name it, all the different ways, because there's so much in this world to explore. The diversity is amazing. The challenge of learning new things is incredible. But also it keeps us addicted to constantly seeking and never being, never settling, which is great because at a high road, there's always more to learn. But this is the card where, like, you have to determine, are you trapped in a cycle, a circle that keeps coming back to its exact same starting point, or are you on a spiral journey as a seeker that goes up and down and around? And there's no judgment for either way. But me personally, I admire a circle. I love a circle. And there are some circles that I commit to. However, that circle is the point of me. It's the center. The circle that I commit to is the center. The spiral is the path that I'm committed to, which takes me all sorts of different places. So, lest I ramble further, I'm going to jump into some tarot cards to fill out this archetype, especially in the sense of, how do we master this seeker archetype? How do we keep on the hunt, keep on the path, always be open and seeking while retaining the knowledge that we don't need to seek, that the answers truly are inside us? And for this journey, I'm going to use the Yarn Tarot. And that might sound cliche about the seeking, but to me, this whole entire life is a divine experiment of experience. Meaning, we chose as souls to incarnate as humans for the experiment of experiencing being this very individual person that you are in this very unique setting, time, place, circumstances, all of that, because no one has ever done that before. And no one ever will do that again. You are the only one that will ever get to be you. And so we're seeking to experience this life. Eight of Swords. But sometimes we get stuck in that circle, like I said. Can I hone in, zone in, zoom in enough? All right, I'm not a knitter or crocheter at all, despite the name Weaving the Magic. But I know that this is little circles and loops all around this, with this like central column, to the point where this knitting needle feels pinned in because it's got all these circles, circle, circle, circle. And this is what I was talking about. Are you repeating a circle or are you doing a spiral? Because the spiral goes somewhere, the circle doesn't. The circle traps you in. And as I had referenced, my personal circle is like, ooh, I'm going to learn a little bit about this. And then it's like, I learned something and the information alludes to like, yeah, but if you knew more, you could. And then my ego grabs hold of like, you don't know enough. And then I'm trapped in the cycle of accumulating more knowledge, more information. Notice I'm not saying wisdom because I'm trapped in accumulating. And that is not wisdom. That's seeking without end. That's being trapped in a circle. And the Eight of Swords, look at, this is the mastery, right? It's recognizing that there's a point to this circling around. This is probably being done to complete some part of the pattern. And also at the same time, this needle is being removed from the equation. The one that's completed the pattern of like, okay, we circled and circled and circled and circled and circled, and now we've finally got enough of that information where we really know it. This is also like a nod to mastering a craft though, because you do have to try and try and try and try and try, and maybe you're not failing that whole time, but like if you're carving something ornate or beautiful, your first 4, 5, 7, 12 carvings might not be stellar, but then by 20, 30, 50 carvings in, you're mastering this thing. So it's like seeking is great. Seeking to what though? Seeking just for the sake of seeking can lead you to being stuck in the circle of always just accumulating more knowledge, while seeking to master something will lead you circling and or spiraling into higher levels of mastery. So this Eight of Swords, swords being the intellect, this is about you making the determination, and 8 being the number of the infinite lemniscate, the infinity symbol. What are you choosing to commit to? That's commitment. Which spiral infinite path are you committing to? And as I pulled this card, it was for the purpose of mastery. Mine is mastery. My personal path is the path of self-mastery. I am constantly seeking to, I want to say level up, but I don't want to say level up because I don't believe in hierarchy. However, I do believe in symbolism, and the higher I am on my own personal mountain, the more of my life I can see, the more objective I can be, and the greater perspective I have. However, I also know that the top of the mountain is not better than inside the depth and the darkness of the cave. I value both in equal measure. So while there are levels and there are layers, there's never one better than another, in my personal opinion. They're all for a different point and purpose or a different experience of life. So at a low road, what is the point, the purpose, the experience of the seeker? Give me one card to further contemplate, like, the low road, how this shows up. That's way too many. Please, just one or two, or a small amount that... There we go. Two of Pentacles. Interesting. So the low road of the seeker is to get your feet beneath you. Two of Pentacles reversed. This is like, I don't feel balanced. I don't feel grounded. I don't feel like I'm supporting myself well enough, or that I'm balancing the different aspects of my life, or again, that I just don't feel like I have the ground beneath me. And what's the point? We're walking a path, but we want to know that there's a path laid out in front of us. We want to know we're not walking into quicksand or into a trap. So getting stuck here, this is where, like, this low road is where the point to give ourselves compassion with, okay? Because no one wants to feel like we're constantly falling short or that we weren't given enough information. And quite frankly, my seeking path began because my parents didn't raise me. I had to raise myself. And this isn't shade on them, it's just fact. I had to become a seeker so that I could learn how to live. And then that never really ends, because you want to get it right. You want to do it better. You want to live to your full potential. But at some point you've got to recognize, like, stop, turn around and look at the path that you've been walking and like, no, I've gotten my feet underneath me. They've been on the ground for a long time. I've carried myself a long way. There's actually a lot that I've done, whether it's circles or spirals. Like, I've accomplished a lot. I've learned a lot. I have a lot of wisdom. So the Two of Pentacles is like, please do low road, keep seeking and walking, but like, give yourself the compassion of like, you've taken a lot of steps and covered a lot of ground, and you probably know a lot more than what you give yourself credit for. And sometimes we need to like put both feet on the ground and stay there for a moment so that we can like let everything catch up to us and recognize that like, here I am on the earth. I'm not in the old story. I'm actually where I am. Wow. High road, tower. How cool. The high road of the seeker in the tower, and especially in the tower reversed, because reversal means this is an inward facing energy. This is, we seek to undo the structure that was given to us. Like I said, my parents didn't raise me, so I had to seek to learn how to raise myself. And the structure that gave me was the like constant need to forge myself. That I felt like I was incomplete. I felt like I wasn't structurally sound. And this tower in reverse, being the high road, is like, stop trying to structure yourself or fashion yourself into this thing that the world told you to be, because the world is trapped in its own limitations. The world is trapped in its own intellectual mind that can't consider all of the landscape, horizons, pyramids, and other that it hasn't seen or explored. So the high road of seeking is to like blow that crap out of the water, to destroy the power structure that says you need to be taught from outside of you, that you don't already have the answers within you, and or that the center core of you is weak. Because the center core of you is resonance. It's emotional resonance. It's brain-heart coherence. And I don't want to go off on a super huge tangent here, but if you're a seeker and you were drawn to watching this video about this archetype, you know what I'm talking about. Seeking is the path of gnosis. It's finding yourself. And you don't have to physically walk anywhere outside of yourself, and you don't also have to build a tower. You don't have to have some physical, tangible proof that you've made it. Ever. You just sometimes need to put both feet on the ground, stand still, and look at what has come before, and look at what still shadows over you, and what you still want to burn to the ground. Because, like, here's another way to look at it. If this tower is sitting here, it's blocking the view of that horizon, of that skyline, and of everything that's beyond it. So the high road of the tower is releasing all of the man-made, brain-made constructs, mental blockages that prevent you from embodying the truth, that you are what you're seeking, that you've already been found, and also that it's okay to keep seeking more of you and committing to more of you and finding yourself over and over again, because this isn't a one and done journey. You keep living, you keep evolving, you keep gaining wisdom, and so you need to keep meeting yourself. And that's why the tower has so much wrong, because it thinks that this is the epitome of everything, of all the achievement of human whatever. No, it's not. there is no, this is the best achievement that will ever be made, which is why the Seeker archetype is so divine, because it allows us to knock down all of our preconceived ideas and all of the traps that keep us like trudging. And it turns this walk into this like slow-paced golden radiance of experiencing everything that's here. Love me some Seeker. Love being a Seeker. And if you loved this video, please hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, because this is one of many. I'll be going through each individually of the 80 card deck of Carolyn Myss, the archetype cards. So hit that notification button so you know when the next video comes out. Until next time, take care. Mwah.